Today, we're going to explore the characteristics of cells. We'll talk about what all cells have in common, then compare prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells, and finally look at the differences between animal cells and plant cells. As you learned in our previous video on the organization of living things, cells are grouped into two main categories, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Even though these two groups are different, all cells share four important features. First, every cell has a plasma membrane, also called the cell membrane. This is the outer covering of the cell. It separates the inside of the cell from the outside environment, keeping the cell's contents protected and organized. Next is the cytoplasm. This is a jelly-like fluid found inside the cell. All the cell's components float in the cytoplasm, and many important chemical reactions happen here. Third, all cells contain DNA. DNA is the genetic material of the cell. It carries instructions that allow cells to grow, function, and reproduce, ensuring continuity of life. Finally, all cells have ribosomes. Ribosomes are tiny structures that make proteins. These proteins are essential for nearly everything a cell does. Now that we know what all cells have in common, let's take a closer look at the two main types of cells. We'll start with prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotes are mostly single-celled organisms that do not have a nucleus or any membrane-bound organelles. Their DNA is found in a region called the nucleoid, located in the center of the cell. Bacteria and archaea belong to this group. Here's an important exam tip. Although most prokaryotes are single-celled, not all prokaryotes are single-celled. Therefore, the statement on a test saying that all prokaryotes are single-celled is false. In addition to the four characteristics shared by all cells, prokaryotic cells have some unique features. They lack a nucleus, they lack membrane-bound organelles, and their DNA is free in the nucleoid region. They are also smaller and simpler than eukaryotic cells. Most prokaryotes have a cell wall made of peptidoglycan, which helps maintain the cell's shape, prevents dehydration, and offers protection. Many also have a capsule, which helps the cell attach to surfaces. Some prokaryotes have special structures like pili, flagella, and fimbriae. Pili help bacteria exchange genetic material. Flagella help the cell move. Fimbriae allow bacteria to attach to host cells. Now let's move on to eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotes include animal cells, plant cells, fungi, and protists. These cells are more complex than prokaryotic cells. They have a membrane-bound nucleus, membrane-bound organelles, and several rod-shaped chromosomes. Let's take a closer look at some important eukaryotic cell components. The plasma membrane separates the inside of the cell from the outside. It is made of a phospholipid bilayer and proteins. It is selectively permeable, meaning it allows some substances like water, ions, and gases to move in and out of the cell while blocking others. The cytoplasm fills the space between the cell membrane and the nucleus. It holds the organelles in place, and it is where many metabolic reactions occur. The nucleus contains the cell's DNA and controls the production of proteins and ribosomes. Inside the nucleus is the nucleolus, where ribosomes are made. Ribosomes can float freely in the cytoplasm or attach to the endoplasmic reticulum. Their function is protein synthesis. The mitochondria, often called the powerhouse of the cell, produce ATP, that is, adenosine triphosphate, which is the main energy-carrying molecule of the cell. Mitochondria have their own DNA and ribosomes. The folded inner membrane is called the cristae, and the fluid inside is the mitochondrial matrix. Peroxisomes help detoxify harmful substances and safely break down hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. Plant cells contain many peroxisomes. Vesicles and vacuoles are used for storage and transport. Vacuoles are larger than vesicles. Vesicles can fuse with other membranes, such as the plasma membrane, while vacuoles usually do not. Now, let's compare animal cells and plant cells. Animal cells have centrosomes and lysosomes, while most plant cells do not. Plant cells, on the other hand, have chloroplasts, a cell wall, plastids, and a large central vacuole, while animal cells do not. Centrosomes help organize microtubules and play an important role in cell division. Each centrosome contains a pair of centrioles. Lysosomes contain enzymes that break down old organelles and cellular waste. They act like the cell's garbage disposal. In plant cells, this role is mainly performed by the vacuole. Chloroplasts carry out photosynthesis. They contain chlorophyll, a green pigment that captures light energy. During photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide, water, and light energy to make glucose and oxygen. Like mitochondria, chloroplasts have their own DNA and ribosomes. The cell wall is a rigid outer layer that provides extra protection, shape, and structural support to the cell. Plastids take part in photosynthesis and store important substances. Finally, the central vacuole helps regulate water balance in plant cells, allowing plants to survive environmental changes such as droughts or heavy rainfall. In summary, today, we have learnt the 4 characteristics of all cells, looked at characteristics of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, and lastly, the differences between animal cells and plant cells.